Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Malamis.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for being here today. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this last episode of the first session of Loops. First of all, I would like to thank you all those that joined us from the very beginning and all those that joined us on the way. So, for all those that are actually new to this initiative, this is a live webinar series focused on shedding light on the innovation produced by the Horizon 2020 projects, specifically in the field of social innovation and circular economy. I am Daniela Bruccoli. I am the communication assistant at VELTA, and I'm very happy to be here today. Just 1 second, I will welcome Dr. Prévost, who just joined us.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Prévost. Good morning. We're live. Thank you very much for.
Sorry, I had to change the PC because the video was not working. So I checked everything yesterday, and this morning it was not working. Fortunately, I have another one because it's not working now.
Perfect. No worries. It's fine. Thank you very much for joining us today. I was just introducing myself. I'm Daniela Bruccoli. I'm the communication assistant at VELTA, and I'm glad to be here to talk to you about your projects. So today's topic is about water management, and we have the pleasure to talk to Dr. Malamis and Dr. Prévost about their projects, respectively HYDROUSA and Project Ô. Now, before moving further with the presentation of the projects, I would like our guests to introduce themselves. So, Dr. Prévost, would you like to start?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm pleased and I thank you for inviting me in representation of Project Ô project. And personally, I belong to the University of Torino in Italy, research unit. I'm an analytical chemist, but I was working in the, let's say, last 10-15 years in application of analytical chemistry to environmental issues, specifically application to water treatment, making use of advanced oxidation processes. And with our research unit, we participated to Project Ô, and we are leading 2 work packages, as I will later on present during the project presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Prévost. Okay, Dr. Malamis.
Thank you, Daniela, first of all, for the invitation and the opportunity to present HYDROUSA project. I am an associate professor at the School of Civil Engineering of the National Technical University of Athens in Greece. I work on advanced processes and nature-based solutions for wastewater treatment and purification and water reuse, nutrients removal and recovery from sewage. These are the fields of our expertise.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so now just to give a general overview to the audience, now we're going to, each of our guests is going to deliver a presentation about their own projects. And after that, there's going to be room for questions. So please, if you have any questions, you feel free to submit them in the chat, in the LinkedIn event, or during the live streaming on YouTube. And I'll pick them up at the end of this discussion. Okay, now I'll give the floor to Dr. Malamis, who's going to start talking about the HYDROUSA project. So please, Dr. Malamis, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Just give me a minute, please, to share my screen.
Yeah, sure. Perfect.
Can you see my presentation? Is it full screen?
It's not full screen.
It's loading.
Yeah.
Now?
Not yet, but
Not yet, huh? Let me try again then.
yes.
It's not giving me the option to share full screen. It's giving me the, I don't know why.
Well, I get it doesn't really matter. Let's just try to present it not in full screen. I'm able to see it. Maybe Dr. Prevost could confirm whether she can see
can
what's
see-
it's written. Now share it again.
Oh, yeah, but it's a window. It's only giving me the possibility to share as window, not full screen. That's what I'm. Before I could, but now it's not.
If you share the
window.
if you go for the window screen.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Okay, I can read it like that. Maybe Dr. Prevost can tell me if she can read it again.
Is it full screen or not full screen?
Yeah, I
It's-
see it. I can see it.
It's not full screen, but we can see it.
Yes.
Okay, so if it's, let me enlarge it furthermore a bit. Okay, so if it's visible, then I think I can start with the presentation. As I mentioned, I'm Simos Malamis. I'm the coordinator of HYDROUSA project and also an associate professor at the National Technical University of Athens. We have a short video of the project that I will share. Please let me know if you can see it and you can.
Imagine a future summer day on an island.
Dr. Malamis, we can hear the video, but we can't really see it.
Okay, then I think it's
Maybe-
because it's not
maybe.
full screen. Yeah.
Let's just wait 1 second. Could you
Start again.
play it again? Yes.
Imagine a future.
Okay. Now we can see it.
1 second. Just.
Imagine a future summer day on an island. One of the hottest summers.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't
Yeah,
work.
it doesn't work.
Let me try a last.
Imagine a
Now it's working.
Okay.
on an island. One of the hottest summers this island has ever seen. But wait, there is an oasis ahead. How is this possible? Let's see where it all started back in 2018 with HYDROUSA, an innovation action project funded by the European Union with the ambition to create regenerative and nature-based water solutions. We are a constellation of international partners consisting of universities, research institutions, companies, NGOs, water utilities, and municipalities, and we are on a mission. Let's think for a moment. The Mediterranean region faces significant challenges: dry zones, places with high touristic activity during the summer, problematic farming practices, wasted water resources. In HYDROUSA, we revolutionize the water value chain by closing the loops, and the revolution is circular. We use a combination of techniques, both traditional like local crops and natural irrigation systems, and modern like ICT technology and online monitoring, mixed with biomimicry technologies, nature-inspired innovations. The journey of HYDROUSA has already started in 3 Mediterranean islands. Let's take a look at how they work. On the island of Lesbos, we develop a rich agroforestry ecosystem. We treat domestic sewage by anaerobic processes coupled with constructed wetlands to produce biogas, which is upgraded to methane and used to fuel a car, sludge to be processed through an innovative compost cultivator, and treated water, free from pathogens, that will directly be used to fertigate and irrigate a 10,000 square meter field. including forestry trees, orchards, bushes, and herbs. On Mykonos Island, we install an innovative rainwater harvesting system on a remote dry hill to irrigate oregano and produce essential oils from it. Meanwhile, on the same island, we collect rainwater from the house's rooftops to provide water for domestic use such as toilet flushing and to recharge groundwater sources for the irrigation of a lavender field. Moving now to Tinos Island, we apply an innovative and nature-based desalination system that mimics the mangrove plants to produce edible salt and to irrigate a tropical fruit greenhouse. On a different site of the island, we upgrade an existing ecotourism facility with a combination of applications. The system aims to create self-sufficiency in terms of water, energy, and food production. All our systems are circular, creating holistic regenerative solutions that can be customized and integrated to local needs. This is our journey for now, but 26 more islands and coastal areas are about to follow, from France and Egypt to Mexico and Australia. We are a community of water allies. We are closing water circles and we come with solutions. Join the circle.
So this was the video, and now I'll continue with the presentation of HYDROUSA project and say a few things on the what we actually do in our demonstration sites. HYDROUSA is basically dealing with all types of non-conventional water sources. So we're talking about rainwater, groundwater, wastewater, even vapor water. We focus at Mediterranean water scarce communities, small-scale systems, and what we want to do is to integrate gray with green infrastructure, so engineered approaches with nature-based solutions to recover water, but also other valuable materials like energy and nutrients. And we integrate also the citizens, the farmers, different stakeholders, and we also promote and develop novel agricultural practices such as precision irrigation systems. So if I were to present the project in one figure, this is it. You can see here the different type of loops that we develop, circular loops that we develop in HYDROUSA, tackling with wastewater, domestic wastewater, tackling with rainwater, stormwater, seawater, and I will go into the each of the demonstration sites, which were also shown in the video, to present a little bit of what we do. In the demonstration sites of Hydro 1 and 2, hydros are the names of the demonstration sites, Hydro 1 up to 6. So Hydro 1 and 2 is an integrated scheme of wastewater treatment by integrating constructed wetlands coupled with agricultural irrigation of reclaimed water. So we have a sewage of a remote village treated first by the USB anaerobic process to produce biogas, which is upgraded to methane, a fuel that can be valorized, followed by a two-stage vertical flow constructed wetland process, which further purifies the wastewater, followed by filtration and UV disinfection. And then we have a 10,000 square meter field of agroforestry that we irrigate. We also have a line for sludge where we treat sludge by reed beds, followed by composting to produce high quality compost to be used in the site, the agroforestry. These are some pictures where you can see, sorry. Yeah, these are some pictures that you can see the site. On the top left, you see the anaerobic reactors together with the biogas collection system. In the middle is the biogas upgrade process to methane, the post-treatment scheme, And on the bottom, you can see the wetlands, which are growing. We are now operating the system for a few months. And we also have some more advanced pilot schemes, electroactive constructed wetlands, which are more intense and can also produce energy. As I mentioned, the cleaned water is used to irrigate an agroforestry system. And agroforestry is basically a combination of trees with shrubs and annual crops. So we have different combination of species that are cultivated, and this is quite advantageous because, first of all, it supports the principle of biodiversity, but also it can provide an enhanced benefit for the farmers who develop the agroforestry system. We also integrate a lot the farmers within these activities. The whole system is monitored closely. We have industrial and low-cost online sensors. We are monitoring emerging contaminants in the water, the soil, the food, and we are also paying attention to the greenhouse gas emissions as well as to the energy efficiency of our systems. All this is a completely integrated scheme. Now, moving on to Mykonos Island, where we have mainly rainwater and stormwater. Hydro 3 is basically a subsurface rainwater harvesting system. We valorize rainwater in areas that don't have any roofs to valorize water through basically a land-based subsurface rainwater harvesting system. We collect the rainwater, we store it during the dry season, and then during the wet season, and then you use it during the dry season to cultivate aromatic plants and produce essential oil. In Hydro 4, again in Mykonos Island, we here have a residential rainwater harvesting system, which consists of rooftops where we collect the rainwater. We also have a bioswale system, where a bioswale is a nature-based solution where you basically develop a trench in land and you cover it with gravel and cultivation, and then this way you are able to collect storm water because you also have a drainage system running at the bottom, and this way you can combat flood issues. We collect storm water and we actually use it we store it into the aquifer during the wet season, and then during the dry season it is used both for domestic applications but also for agricultural irrigation purposes. Moving on to Hydro 5, which is located in Tinos Island. It's basically a novel seawater desalination scheme where it's the mangrove still system. It's a biomimicry process, an Italian innovation where seawater is fed into these solar stills panels on the bottom left of the picture, and it is basically used to produce clean water and salt, and this is then fed to develop a greenhouse where we cultivate tropical fruits. Generally, this is of innovation is used to restore barren land. And finally, Hydro 6 is an ecotourist facility where we have different types of small loops. It's a completely energy autonomous off-grid facility where everything is powered by photovoltaics. And they have water loops. We have developed water loops of rainwater, wastewater, even vapor water, and all of these are used for the local production of the ecotourist facility, and the cultivations the crops are consumed by the tourists of this facility, but also it's given to local restaurants. From the very beginning of our project, we have involved the local community, the local stakeholders in our circular water solutions. We have actually gone one step further, so we have co-created our solutions together with local stakeholders. For example, the species selected for the agroforestry system was based through the input and the feedback we received from locals through an ethnobotanical study. The citizens provided and the farmers provided suggestions on what crops to cultivate. We also took into account the feedback we had regarding the monitoring of the water quality, where issues such as salinity and microbial contaminations were highlighted to us. HYDROUSA now is completing its third year of implementation. We have had a high visibility. We've had over 320 dissemination activities taking place, and we have a Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook account, YouTube account, and many followers in our social media. Just some highlights of our dissemination activities. We have had local press on the demonstration sites, a national broadcast, even international. We had the CNBC documentary where Hydro 5 solution was included in a biomimicry documentary. We have had webinars of our solutions, participation in significant trade fairs, policy activities. We have also developed 3 policy briefs within our activities. We also have had a number of press releases. Here we quote some of these: the Open Access Government press release, Euroscientist, Horizon Magazine, and many others. We also have had international, let's say, visibility in several countries, including here you can see the transferability in Italy, in the Gorgona Island. It's important to say that we are developing solutions for the community, for the stakeholders, and we already have products which are on the market and are selling. We have had the precision irrigation system of Argenso developed within HYDROUSA, which is currently on the market and is actually used by farmers and municipalities and universities. It's not only about the demonstration sites I've showed you. We have 26 replication sites all over the world where we implement mainly soft actions of how HYDROUSA solutions would be implemented. We do a feasibility study and pre-design of these solutions to which the stakeholders, the local stakeholders, are interested. Our project, together with another 10 Horizon 2020 project, has been acknowledged as a key contributor to the EU climate adaptation strategy. It's one of the 4 water-related projects. To conclude, HYDROUSA tackles a number of issues: water scarcity, protection against floods and desertification. It promotes the biodiversity through multi-cropping practices, and we also consider the social aspect for water scarcity issues. So that's all from my side. You can follow us in our Twitter at HYDROUSA Project, and we also have a website where we publish regularly news of the project. Again, I would like to thank a lot the organizers for giving us the opportunity to present our project.
Thank you very much, Dr. Malamis. It's an incredible and interesting project, and I'll keep my questions for later, if that's okay.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Now I'll give the floor to Dr. Prevost, who's going to talk about the Project Ô project. So please, you can hand over.
Thank you very much, and thanks again for giving the possibility to present our project. I try to share now the screen. Do you see the?
Yes, it's not in presentation mode.
Now try. Do you see it in the presentation mode now?
No, not yet. Otherwise, you can just.
Because I see it as a presentation.
Yeah, no, it's showing only the PowerPoint program. But I can see it. So if you want, you can start. If Dr. Malamis also sees it properly.
It is very visible. Yes, I think it's fine.
Is it?
I don't know.
Is it?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I also had the same issue. I don't know.
Okay.
It's fine. It's fine. I think it's
Okay. So I go ahead in this way.
Yes.
So thank you very much. As I said before, I'm professor at the University of Torino in Italy, and I will present you today Project O, demonstration of planning and technology tools for a circular, integrated and symbiotic use of water. Here you can have an overview of our consortium, and we have many institutions belonging to the consortium.
Sorry, Dr. Pravo, but you're still in the first slide. You should move on manually, probably.
Because I see in the screen, I see that the second one. You don't see.
Yeah, maybe if you exit the presentation mode, you can also manually.
Yes, I think it's better. Yes, otherwise it will not be possible. Okay, I do like this. Do you see now the second one?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
we do.
Perfect. So the problem
Thanks.
is the presentation mode. Okay.
Thank you.
So here you can have an overview of the consortium that is spanning from several academic institutions to company to water management institution, public and private, and spread all over Europe and to Israel. Sorry. Okay. Just let me give you an introduction about the project. In terms of concepts, starting from what is very well known, that we can consider water as a circular material for excellence, and we are depending on the 1.4 billion cubic kilometers of Earth water stock that are circulating in the hydrologic cycle, and as humans, we are taking advantage of this amount of water that we are exploiting for many kind of activity, but we experienced and we are still in this situation, and we are trying to experience a kind of transition approach from a man-centric and linear take, use, dispose, practice approach to rethinking of the water management through the circular economy lens. And this is more and more needed in order to tackle issues like water scarcity, as already said before Dr. Malamis, presenting his project. And in Project O, we aim to demonstrate how local and small loops of water management can alleviate the pressure of a water management system, allowing at the same time for a circular economy vision of this very fundamental resource, addressing mainly two goals in the sustainable development goal agenda, that are clean water and sanitation and responsible consumption and production. And in our project, we would like to pilot a circular and participative model demonstrating approaches and technologies to drive a symbiotic and integrated use of water within specific area, aiming at putting together different needs coming from water users, regulators, planners, service providers, but also civil society, as well as industry and agriculture. And the project seeks to apply integrated water management as a model for water planning. We would like to demonstrate low-cost and modular technologies that allow water treatment that can be considered fit for purpose on a small scale, enabling also small communities as well and as small and medium enterprises to adopt virtuous practices. At the same time, we aim to provide the stakeholders with a toolkit enabling them to plan the use of water, whatever the provenance, the history, in order to save significantly energy in terms of avoid over-treatment of water, also reduce drastically the amount of wastewater released, and also release the pressure over green water resources. So we would like to move from, we propose to move from centralized water management to small loops of water management. And I underline this fit for purpose treatment in order to avoid overstress and over-engineering of water, because we are aware that for many applications we use water with many times higher quality than what is really needed. So with the fit for purpose, we aim to reach a kind of customized water treatment depending on the characteristic of the available water and on the needs of water in terms of use that is needed in the specific case. And this concept is mainly pivoting around 4 points. That is a novel distributed water network that has to be built for small, medium enterprises and small municipalities. A portfolio of new water technologies that are low cost and efficiently under the energetic point of view. Collaborative platform for stakeholder, for multi-stakeholder, where needs and parameters have to be matched in order to find the optimum solution, and also a modular architecture with the specific control, smart control linked by a common unit. The project therefore wants to deliver innovative water treatment technologies as well as control systems that can be deployed with high flexibility to process different kind of pollutants, spanning from dyes to pharmaceutical to microbial pollution, where and when needed, exploiting therefore high flexibility, as I said, and modularity of the technologies. Interfacing decision-making platforms, because it is very important to provide to regulators and adopters the right tool to achieve consensus, introducing localized water management loops, considering circular economy drivers and also the interest of a specific territory and its population. So a very inclusive and participatory approach to decision making over the choices related to water management, from technology to water use planning to managing stakeholders' expectation and achieve acceptance. The project is lasting 4 years and demonstrates on 4 different sites. 2 of them are water utility driven and the other 2 are business driven and are facing different types of waters and different needs in terms of use, reuse, therefore in terms of possible symbiotic loops that can be established. As for the methodologies, as I said, the approach is to demonstrate the advanced technologies and decision-making tools on these sites, validating the potential of replicability of Project Ô approach, experimenting different conditions, synergies that can match the water value chain. So we have 4 demo sites, 1 in Israel, 1 in Spain, 1 in South Italy, and 1 in Croatia. I will give you more details. So the first one is in Regione Puglia. In this case, water efficient use of alternative water sources is at the top of this region political agenda because of several issues related to water scarcity. And in this case, Project Ô can demonstrate interfaces between spatial and water resource planning at the regional level, involving the community in decision-making processes. The second demo site is located in Israel, and where there is a National Center for Mariculture that is specialized in advanced aquaculture of seawater fish. And in this case, because of the legislation on discharge of wasted seawater back into the sea, in terms of nutrient contents, microbiological contamination, and salinity level, the site requires integrate the current wastewater treatment technology in order to reduce, recover, if possible, the nutrient and level at optimum salinity, the water quality, in order to being able to reuse the water in agriculture and in irrigation. In this case, experimenting innovative desalination technology suitable for attaining this goal. The third one is in Almendralejo in Spain. In this case, Project Ô results is implementing by a lower level authority, part of a larger multi-authority with the multi-regulator hydrological basin. And in this case, there is also a private component of the water utility that is giving more flexibility in adapting new technologies. And in this case, the main issue to be faced is the possibility of peaks of contamination that to be tackled in order not to having issues with the water not properly treated coming out from the water treatment plant. And the fourth one is in Croatia, and in this case is a textile factory. In this case, in the different phases of textile processes, there is a large use of water, and the possibility of reuse the treated one in a closed loop. And in this demo site, the different processes with their own issue will be faced in order to reduce the withdrawal from green water and maximize the reuse in all the textile processes. As for the technologies, there is a series of technology providers that are involved to develop, and during the project, different technologies have been developed from bench scale up to from laboratory scale up to pilot plant, and finally we are now in the step of releasing industrial prototype that have to be installed and put in work in the demo site that are owned by these four institutions, in order to check their performances and optimizing their work. So we move from laboratory scale up to industrial prototypes. And there are several technologies. For demo site 1, the module is called ADVERT, and in this case aims to treat waters with medium salinity and bacterial contamination, as well as low levels of biodegradable contaminants. And in this case, the technologies proposed are a nanofiltration system in series with high voltage pulse electric field that is generating a plasma. And what is worth to be underlined is the high in general, not only for this demo site, but is a characteristic of the overall project, that all the technologies have been developed in order to be modular, flexible, and upgrading in terms of scaling up. So depending on the needs, on the amount of water to be treated, more units can be combined. And as I'm showing, and I will show also for the other demo sites, we are combining the different technologies belonging to our portfolio in order to face properly the different characteristic of the water to be treated in the demo sites. But this portfolio of modular technology is potentially available for any application that can be customized, as I said, depending on the characteristic of the incoming used waters or available water, and of the characteristic of the desired water to be used, depending on the application. In the demo site 2, that is the one in Israel, the module is called the Soltec, and in this case the goal is to abate nitrates, and this is done through an activated sludge denitrification reactor, as well as with algae treatment. There are also non-biodegradable organic pollutants, and in this case 3 different technologies can be applied that are advanced carbon absorption, solar photophantom, and photocatalysis. And lastly, we need also to leveling by reducing the salinity, and this has been implemented through membrane distillation with the use of a thermal solar power plant to drive the membrane distillation, therefore reducing also the energy consumption. The demo site 3, that is the one located in Spain, is the mobile 3-check. This is the case of organic load peaks that are sometimes problem in the managing of water, of used water in the wastewater treatment plant, that is a traditional biological one. And in this case, this organic load peak is treated combining advanced carbon absorption with the solar photophantom modules. And in this case, it is applied also an advanced bacteria stress closed control loop. This means that through this advanced bacteria control loop, we have an indication of the presence of organic load peaks that cannot be managed properly by the biological wastewater treatment plant. And based on this indication of the control loop, it can be added also the solar photophantom and the advanced carbon absorption module. The last one is the demo site in the textile industry in Croatia. In this case, the PhotoCat module implemented a solar photocatalytic modular units based on titanium dioxide supported on ceramic support. These tiles are combined together, and they can be activated by solar light, but also retrofitted with the LED illumination system in order to implement the illumination depending on the load of the mainly organic content to be treated. And this system is working well also in the presence of relevant amounts of sulfates. That is a typical characteristic of dyeing exhausted bath. In this way, the water can be reused in dyeing or washing bath. Sorry. Okay. Now there are some slides that have not been projected because we're not in the presentation. Okay, now we move to the collaborative platform, and we have two platforms: decision analytic platform 1 and the circular economy platform. And in the first one, we have a multi-objective water planning portfolio design, then an ICT-based decision analytic platform, and a robust portfolios planning. And this decision analytic plan consider different quantitative indicators that are identified by the stakeholders and the policymaker in order to capture their point of view to evaluate the candidate portfolios. On the other side, the circular economy platform include two main modules, which have their own functionality, but they can also be interconnected. And the first module is the technology selection toolbox, where there is a toolbox that can be used by water treatment facilities and water system managers in order to identify the best technology solution or system of solution to treat a specific water stream. And the second one, in this user collaborative platform, this component will be a user-centered platform in order to improve the circularity of the resources between different partners that can be involved in the water treatment value chain. These platforms are very useful in order to allow the availability of entering in this virtuous reuse loop also to small communities, small companies that normally cannot build and manage by their own such a complex system. So it is really a collaborative approach. In terms of objective, I reported here 4 quantitative objectives. The first one is a significant reduction of water consumption. The aim is reducing 30% in water footprint due to the implementation of this new water management model. The second one is a reduction in energy consumption, using these smart controls and also leveraging renewable energy sources, in particular direct solar irradiation. Then the impact at the regional scale, covering up to 10% of local water needs, because Project Ô focus on small-scale localized solution, but we leverage modularity and standardization in order to be also replicable and scalable. And then the social inclusiveness, in order to take into account stakeholders' needs in the decision-making process, by means of this collaborative platform that will be delivered, integrating knowledge from stakeholders and adapting also algorithms to support decision makers in taking into account benefits of approaching local problems with on-site solution. Here are some examples. The reduction of water footprint, for example, in Soltec at bench scale, that achieved to the first target. This is the sludge denitrification bioreactor. The other one, in terms of reducing the energy consumption in both South Italy water treatment system, as well as in the Croatian demo site. In South Italy, also the third objective of satisfying the regional water needs, trying to establish virtuous water loops, identifying other sources from the one that has been identified as demo site in the Apulian region, with potential to implement water availability from non-conventional sources, and also the platform to achieve the fourth objective of inclusiveness. Sorry, yeah, there are some we added in the presentation mode. I just put an overview of the work packages. I will not go through all of them, but the project is conceived and deployed in 10 work packages, from management up to ethic requirements, and there are technological work packages, mainly WUPI2 and WUPI5, that in the first case was the develop and validate the technology to be installed at the demo site at the laboratory scale, while the WUPI5 is building and releasing the industrial prototype to be then put on work in the demonstration in the demo site, in order to check their performance in a complex and real scenario. Then there is a VP devoted to integrated water management, planning and circular economy, facing also the framework condition that can either hinder or facilitate this transition to water circular economy. The ICT-based integrated water resources, mainly devoted to the development of the ICT-based decision platform. Then a VP devoted to assessing the sustainability and monitoring the performance in terms of energy efficiency and impact, and another VP devoted to evaluate economic and operational sustainability of the water circular use. And then one would be devoted to communication and stakeholders management. Managing the stakeholders is highly relevant, and we were delayed a bit by the COVID pandemic emergency, but there is a very high activity in the demo site areas in order to engage all the stakeholders in order to have really a co-participative and co-projecting water planning, and then a dissemination and exploitation of results that somehow provides the legacy to Project Ô, by means of the dissemination of the results and also envisaging a perspective of exploitation. And I think it's all from my side, and I thank you again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Prevot. Thank you for all this information about your project. We don't have a lot of time left, but I just would like to highlight that both projects are in a certain way aligned in terms of goals and objectives. So I would like to know whether you have some questions or some curiosities you would like to ask the other project coordinators.
I could ask a couple of things. I would like to know, that, as you know, transferability of solutions is very important, both for the business viability of the solutions. How are you considering this in terms of your technologies? Because also, and this also relates to the fact that what you mentioned about the water that is fit for purpose, because different environments for the same application could have different limits. So how are you considering your transferability of your technologies?
As you have seen, we try to have a rather wide portfolio of technologies in order to be flexible enough, because as you said, depending on the specific situation, you have a different framework, different frame, and different also legal constraint and different legislation. So that to be replicable needs to be able to face these aspects. And what we are looking for is exactly to feeding our decision platform with as much as we can information about all the characteristics of the different technologies. In order, our, let's say, ideal goal is to be able to deliver a tool where from one side one can identify characteristic of the water to be treated, the available water, let's say, that can be unconventional sourced or wastewater or whatever, and trying to see in the specific condition what is the cost of each possible technology, what is the specificity of each technology, because in the portfolio there are technologies that are better for a certain load, for example, of organic pollutants, instead of for dealing with microbiological issues. Some other are good to face problem of salt content or nutrients. So they are not equal and interchangeable. So all this information should be used to feed the decision platform, trying to offer different perspectives, among them the decision maker, policy regulators, and so on, can decide which one to adopt. I don't know if I answered to your question.
Thank you, yes.
Dr. Prevot, do you have a question for Dr. Malamis?
Oh, I found very, very interesting all the aspects that are also related with not only the water treatment, rather also to the aspect related to this, let's say, zero waste approach that you are adopting. I don't know if I lost this aspect. Maybe you mentioned. Are you performing analysis like life cycle assessment, life cycle costing, in terms of also giving, let's say, a quantitative indication about the relevance and the convenience also of this virtuous, in theory, approach? We have a
Yes,
quantitative.
thank you. Yes, we are performing life cycle analysis and life cycle costing of our solutions. Um, on top of this, we are also developing a nexus model, which will show the links between water, energy, ecosystems, and agriculture. Because HYDROUSA doesn't tackle the industry. We don't have, because your project has a lot of industrial elements. We
Yeah.
focus on domestic and agricultural applications, but we are developing a nexus model on this, and also we have our business models uh, integrate the environmental and the social elements of implementing the solution. So the technologies are assessed both for the payback period they can deliver, but also for environmental and social parameters.
Thank you. Thank you very much. As
I've
Dr. Sorry. No, go ahead.
Yes. I just have a question about the technology. I was wondering, have you faced some legal constraints for the applied technologies? How do you demonstrate that it is safe to use? Anyone
Question
can
is for
start.
me, or
For
okay?
both, actually.
I can start for, and I can give you an example. In the case study where we have the wastewater plant for the village, we had to undergo a complete license of wastewater treatment system together with the reuse of the water. Um, at the moment, and this took a long time because we're talking about 14 different organizations providing the green light. So it was a big thing to get this license. We're talking about a real wastewater plant, it's not just a pilot. What we see is that currently in Europe, the water reuse regulations are very fragmented. We're talking about national water reuse. Of course, this will change now that we have the umbrella of the minimum water quality requirements for agricultural use, but this will be integrated in a few years. So, um, for example, in some countries, you have to remove nitrogen and phosphorus even if you irrigate, and in some other countries, you do not. So the solution, if we're talking about replication and transferability, needs to be flexible to deal with both. Otherwise, you lose, if it doesn't remove the nutrients, and many countries have limits for nutrient, for nitrogen and phosphorus, you are losing all this market. So the flexibility of building the solution is a key aspect, so that then when you apply it, legislation is not a barrier and doesn't constrain your market size.
Yeah.
And that is what we develop. We developed a solution that, depending on both operation, you have the possibility to remove or not nutrients. Also, in terms of microbiological parameters that are key when we are reusing water, is that we need to go very low, because the vast majority of the requirements are quite strict, and quite rightly so. And despite the fact that the European water reuse regulation is not requiring specific limits for organic or inorganic micropollutants, because we have it in some legislation of some countries. We are also monitoring this, so we try to be as inclusive as possible, so that we are able to replicate the solutions in many different locations.
That's perfect. Thank you very much, Dr. Malamis. Dr. Prevost, would you like to say something?
Yes, I totally agree what Dr. Malamis said, that flexibility is really a key aspect. Otherwise, as you said, the legislation is so fragmented that you have to face all aspects. We have in one more packages that is dealing with specifically this aspect in order, at least for the project in the 4 demo sites, to deal properly with the legislation. In some cases, we have also lack of legislation. We involved our national, in this case, is the Italian standardization organization, because there is also the issue of standardized. There are not, in some cases, available standards. And under this point of view, I think that it would be interesting also. And in this case, I can say on behalf of our coordinator that we are absolutely available to become and stay in touch, because I think that if different projects, but with main aspect and goals in common, interact under this point of view, it would be a good synergy. For example, discussing about lack of standards and the possibility to propose a panel to discuss new ones, and facing together and sharing what are the legislation barriers where we can be propositive. I think that would be a very interesting synergies under this point of view.
It definitely fastens the whole procedure, because these things take a lot of time.
Yes, if we are going together and joining effort, maybe we do not, in this case, it's good not to replicate, rather to have a synergic approach.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much to both. I have one last question, just because I'm genuinely curious. So if on one side you are working to increase water conservation and reuse, on the other side, are you planning to do something for the demand side to be reduced in terms of water streams and use? Is it clear, the question?
Yes.
Okay.
So, the demand side is something that definitely we are concerned. And what we do, because the vast majority, we focus in the Mediterranean project, okay? And the prime consumer of water in the Mediterranean, above 75%, is agriculture sector, okay? So what we want to do is smart interventions to reduce the amount of water they want. I don't know, in the slides I showed, we have one product on the market that is about precision irrigation. Precision irrigation means that you have a tool, a system, that is a cloud-based system, and that the farmer, through his cell phone or through an application through his PC, could actually regulate so that he puts as much water is needed to the plants based on parameters such as if it's raining, or if how much is the soil moisture level, so that I don't irrigate when the soil moisture is high. So through this way, you can decrease demand in the agricultural sector. So yes, we are dealing it, and we already have a product on the market to save water in the farming sector. We also have stakeholder consultation workshops to inform people about water saving and the importance of water saving, the stakeholders, public, in domestic use, in agriculture, in the tourist business. Also, the tourist business is important for Mediterranean countries.
Thank you. Yeah, raising awareness is always a very tricky process, I would say. But thank you. Dr. Prevost, would you like to add on that?
Yes, we are somehow indirectly trying to influence also, or at least to raise our awareness about the aspect of demand, because trying to implement this water management planning, this is pushing institutions to be more reflective on how to optimize the demand. Because if you enter in this mindset and in this approach of not just withdraw water until you have enough, and in case of scarcity, just to say, oh, what can we do? But you start thinking on in terms of circular and in terms of loops. You enter a kind of mentality approach that is almost obliging you to reflect on the amount of water you need, because you start thinking on what kind of treatment, with what purpose, how much, why, where, when. So this is indirectly, but is strictly related. So I think that is a way also to pooling, let's say, this approach. So indirect, but not so indirect.
It's clear. It's clear. Okay. All right. Thank you very much to both of you. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. So I really would like to thank you for being here and for having this very interesting discussion about such an important matter. I just would like to let people know that we're going to start again with this initiative from September onwards. So we'll deliver more information along the way. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you for participating. Thank you very much. And I wish you a great day and a great summer for your projects as well.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. It was a pleasure to present our activities.
Thank you.
For me too.
It was a pleasure, and a pleasure also to meet Dr. Malamis. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a nice day.
Same to you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Okay.